Good evening, folks. Frank Zavilla here, the 21st of May, 2023, Sunday. Doing a quick video going over some weekly setups for this week. But first, let's take a look at some of these weekly setups that we've been, tracking, getting involved with the last couple of weeks. We have some really nice ones, big cap names, moving pretty well. Like, for example, on 5/8, we had this AMD going through this high right over here, 91.64. Nice move over the last couple of weeks. Google right over here, inside weak candle. Very nice move once it broke this little candle here, once it broke this high. Micron, your cookie cutter technical analysis would have waited until this stock got right over here, breaking this resistance level at 65.42. But the stock was doing exactly what you want to see. The stock was basing at the very end of that base, right before the breakout. What you tend to see is a pattern of higher lows, right? All that means is that the sellers, are running out of supply, and or the buyers are getting a little bit more aggressive and they're buying it up. They're not waiting for it to get to the bottom of the range for them to start buying. So you start seeing the higher lows, that at the very end, you start to see the contraction. And here we had, very tight week, inside candle. And then right over here, we got involved going through this high right over here, 62.31. LRCX, very similar situation, going sideways for about, a little over a year. At the very end, as you can see, same exact thing, higher lows at the very end. It starts to tighten up. All these yellow candles are inside weak candles, okay? This was a nice one, got involved going through this high right over here. It took off, sold all of it on this little ramp. Hopefully it consolidates. If it doesn't, it's fine. But the market, to me, the market right now is in a show me state, okay? A lot of stocks have not been following through. Clack, again, same thing. Nice sideways for, call it 1.4 years, okay? And right over here at the very end, look how tight it gets. Broke through the high. Nice move. IDXX, very similar situation. I'm long, went through this little inside weak candle. I already sold some up $10 a share at 501 and change. Costco did not take, but it still looks okay. But their report this week, so you can forget about that one. DXCM triggered, but not doing much. Stop here's a 20-week moving average, and Intel never trigger. So far for this week, I came across a few stocks. That look good. The market is the market, by the way. I don't want to discuss the market too much, but the market is the market. I think prior to this past week, I believe that most individual stocks have been struggling. There are people who are saying, look at the market, the QQQs at a 17, whatever, 12-month high. But the QQQs is not the stock market. The QQQ is comprised of 100 stocks. The QQQs, I think the 5 top stocks amount to about 40% of the index. If you look at the S&P 500, I think the S&P 500 is up, whatever it is, but the equal weight is actually down for the year, I believe, or whatever. Or most of the gain, like 90% of the S&P 500 gain, comes from those top FANG names. Okay, so look, those who trade, I think they see it, they feel it, they know what's going on. Those who probably don't trade, they look at the S&P 500, at 11-month highs, and they're saying everything is okay. All right. And the thing is about negative divergences, which is what we have right now. That's just a fact. If you look at stocks up and down for the quarter, up and down for the last 34 days until just recently, it's been negative since the middle of February. What you need to keep in mind when you have these negative divergences is that they don't have to resolve themselves with a downturn, with the market going down. We can turn to the upside. Okay, so keep that in mind. But either way, let me tell you what I got going on for this week, and only for this week. First one is Visa, ticker symbol V, trading sideways for almost 2 years, 1.7 years. As you can see here, here at the very end, what we're seeing is that the stock was trading between, call it 232 and around 194, 195. And finally, either the sellers are running out of supply, or the buyers are getting more aggressive. And before a base breakout, this is exactly what you want to see. You want to see you want to see higher lows, like what we're seeing right here. Here's a higher low, here's a low, and here's a higher low. And then at the very end of this consolidation, before that breakout, you want to see tightness. And then you look at these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. It's been very tight. We printed an inside week candle. I like the stock going through 234.34, which is last week's high. My buy stop is going to be 10 cents above at 234.44, and my initial stop, you got to give it to the 20-week moving average, so it's going to be 223. The next one is TTEK. Very similar situation. I mean, the stock had a huge run. That's my only concern, but it's been trading sideways. Let's call it from here to right over here, roughly about 1.4 years. You can see the moving averages are all tight, hugging themselves. You can see the tightness here. I like this stock going through this high, 146.22, buy stop, 146.32, initial stop, 139, last week's low. Dash, again, trading sideways. Let's call it from right over here to here, roughly about 8.5 months. Again, you can see the pattern of higher lows. Here's the low, here's a higher low, and then look at the tightness here, okay? It printed an inside candle. I like the stock going through 67.50. Buy stop for me, 67.60, and the initial stop, right? I don't want to give it to all the way to $60 a share. More than likely, I might do half the position with a stop right over here at $63 a share, and half the position right over here at a stop at $60 a share. And last but not least, DNUT, DNUT, Krispy Kremes. Again, nice move from $11 to $15 a share. Part of this move, I believe, was on the news that McDonald's is experimenting, having some Krispy Kreme donuts in their franchises, okay? So I think that's the reason for part of this move. Huge move from 11 to 15, going sideways. As you can see here, inside weak candle. Here's the anchor VWAP from the IPO. Resistance, failed breakout, resistance, and now finally we broke above. And as you can see, we've been holding above that IPO VWAP level for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks. I like the stock going through last week's highs, $15.37. Initial stop right over here, $14 a share. These buy stops for me are good for this week. Come next week, it's a totally different ball game, brand new. It'll be obviously a new candle for the week, and the stocks might look completely different. So my buy stops in all these stocks, Visa, TTEK, Dash, and Donut, Krispy Kremes, will be for the week. So be well and trade well.